Hi guys, so today we're going to be making chocolate peanut butter bars, and these are all of our ingredients here that we're going to put into it. So we've got some oatmeal, we've got our baking soda and baking powder, we have butter, peanut butter, brown sugar, our flour, we've got chocolate chips, our sweetened condensed milk, our eggs, and peanuts. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move all this to the side and bring over my bowl. So our recipe says we need to add all the dry ingredients first. So we have 2 cups of oatmeal. We have our 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And our brown sugar. I want you to show you something with the brown sugar. So on the recipe it says firmly packed. And the way you know it's firmly packed is if it keeps its shape of the cup. So that looks really good to me. So there's part of it. And there's this one too, firmly packed. So that's our brown sugar. And we have our baking soda and baking powder. Okay, so I'm going to mix all those up. I like to use my hands a lot in the kitchen, so if you don't mind getting your hands a little bit gooey, but this is all dry ingredients, so it's not really going to stick to your hands that much until you add your butter. But I just want to go ahead and blend all of this together, and I'll show you what it looks like. So it's just nice and floury and fluffy, and it's all blended together. Okay, so our next step, we are going to add some peanuts. Actually, we're going to do the butter first. So we're going to add our 1 cup of butter. And this is not melted butter. It's softened just a little bit, but it's not melted. Okay, so 2 cubes equals 1 cup. All right, so I'm going to introduce a new tool to you. This tool is called a pastry blender, but you can also do this process with 2 knives. And the 2 knives, you just cut it. This is called cutting in. So you're going to cut it with knives, working on the outward motion like this with your 2 knives. But a pastry blender makes it a little bit easier. And I'm going to blend this a little bit, and then I will show you what it looks like. I'll try and turn it up like this a little bit so you can see what it's doing. It's just cutting this butter around, and if you keep moving it or blending it in, it's just going to make our cookie dough a little bit chunky. And it's okay to have the chunkiness. So we don't want the butter totally melted to make it a creamy cookie dough. We want it chunky. So I'm just going to work it a minute here, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the end. You have to kind of clean off your pastry blender here a little bit every once in a while. So what this is doing is incorporating this butter into our dry ingredients. It's going to be crumbly and kind of dry looking. We're not going to be scooping this like we do our regular cookie dough with our portion scoops. This is going to be sorry, kind of flipped it around the kitchen there. I mean, to see what it's looking like here. It's looking really crumbly, but it looks like I need to blend it a little bit more. So I'm going to break down some of this butter a little bit more. I don't want it quite as big as what it is. So if you need a little workout, you can do this because it gives you muscles. I tell you guys all the time in the bakery that we grow muscles in the bakery. And that's what we're doing. This is looking pretty good. This last part, I'm just gonna take it in my hands and just kind of blend it together a little bit better, just so that I know I have all that dry stuff mixed with a little bit of butter. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna tilt it so you guys can see what it looks like. So it's not really a combined hard mixture. If I put it in my hand and I squished it like this, it would push all together. And that's how we want it. We want it loose while it's in the bowl, and then when we press it in the pan, then it'll press tight for our crust. So we have 1/2 cup of peanuts, and this is a little bit more than 1/2 cup that I have here. So I'm going to measure out my 1/2 cup of peanuts. Okay, and I'm going to blend that in with this mixture. So our last ingredient in our crust part is our liquid eggs. So we need 1 large egg that's blended, and 1 large egg, when you add liquid eggs, is 3 tablespoons. So that's my 3 tablespoons. All right, so now we're going to mix all this together. Now, our recipe says to take out 1.5 cups. It says to reserve, and reserve means to take out and put it aside until our last step. Okay, so we've got 1.5 cups right here. We'll just set that aside, and the rest of this is going to go into our pan. So we're going to pour this in the pan, spread it out evenly, and then press it in nice and tight. Okay. If any of you guys have worked with our lemon bars at school or our 7-layer bars, this is kind of the same process where we're pressing the crust flat into the bottom of the pan. We want to make sure it's a nice, even layer. Okay? All right. That's it. Now we're ready to put it in the oven. Okay, so now the next part is to mix our gooey part. So this is where we get our sweetened condensed milk. We're going to empty the whole can into our bowl. Then we're going to get our 1/2 cup of peanut butter, and we're going to add to that. I'll show you what this looks like here in just a second. All right. And this we're just going to mix together until it's evenly combined. Ew, that looks so good. Who likes peanut butter? I like peanut butter. And that doesn't take very much to get that all mixed in together. There you go. That's what that looks like. This is our cookie dough after 15 minutes, taking it out of the oven. So now we're going to add our mixture of our peanut butter and our sweetened condensed milk. So we're going to put this over the top evenly. Out of my container here. Okay. Have to be kind of careful because the center of that cookie dough is soft. And our last step is our chocolate chips. All right, so we've got our chocolate chips and the reserved part of our cookie dough. And I know I don't have gloves on, but we're at home. We're not in our professional bakery, so it's okay to use your hands, and I did wash them. So it's okay. I'm just gonna blend all this together. Okay, then we're just gonna kind of put this over the top. Just kind of move this around so that all the edges, all the parts get some. And there we go. And there we go.